On this episode, we're getting ready for a motorcycle trip. Last time the Ducati was out, seriously, was back in the beginning of May. Basically a 3,000 mile road trip from here to Abington, Virginia, right around the Appalachians and the Chirahola, and then rode it all the way back. Ran great. Well, yeah, ran great. This was a new tire when I put it on, so it's got 3,000 miles on it, plus or minus. I took it easy, so it lasted. The first one of these I put on lasted 3,000 miles because I was riding like a maniac. So if you manage your speed and your throttle hand correctly, you're not going to wear it out real fast. And then when I got back from the trip, I took everything off, broke it down, cleaned it, rebalanced the tire, put it back together. But I'm going to rebalance it again. I need to break it off the bead, spin the tire 180, and then reseat it, and then balance it because it's got a heavy spot. I have the Harbor Freight tire changer machine set up. Really, I only need it for the bead breaker. Works great. If you don't have one, get one. But since we're going on a trip, this is a good time to just go over some of the things you need to look at before you leave so you don't have to do it while you're out. So we'll do that while we're changing tires. So on this one, I installed the aluminum swing arm. I still have the steel one, but I like the aluminum looks better. The steel will look fine once we take it in and get it powder coated. That's something to put on the list. Powder coat that steel swing arm. Okay. So we give it a bump to loosen the chain. These are mostly to keep the motorcycle clean, not keep my hands clean. You can see it's clean. If I put my dirty fingers on it, then it's going to get dirty. But we'll wipe it down anyway. So this is a new chain we put on before the trip. So the chain has 3,000 miles on it. And then what we have to do is maneuver this axle shaft out. Gotta watch this, it'll get you. Sometimes it wants to be a fucker. And that's what the BFH is for. But I need to get here, here. And here. So some things for the pre-ride check. Pull over here and take a look at your brake pads. And so part of pre-ride check is look at the brake pads. Still plenty of pad left on there. Nothing's jammed up in there, rocks or debris or anything, so those are good. And then a visual on the swing arm. Looking for any cracks. These things are prone to cracking up here. This is the upgraded version, so it doesn't crack as often. So this is a tire balancer. You can pick them up online. Cycle Gear, all of the shops have them. it slips. This takes place of the axle, and these center the tire on the bearings. And then you put it up here, and it rolls, and then it'll go to the heavy spot. So I'm gonna take this and slip it through the. I can do it up here. So this goes up like this, and then the rod comes through. And then you want to put your other thing on here and give it some downward pressure to keep it centered. And then this goes on, and then the tire's naturally going to go to its heavy spot. So the next thing I'm going to do is take off all the weights. Try not to scratch your rim, but you got to peel them off. So there's no more weights on there. Now it's going to go to its heavy spot. And it was pretty much where that red dot was. It shifted a little bit. So this is our heavy spot. And I want to flop it up to here. Actually, I kind of want to flop it to here, but we'll see. So I'm going to put a line there, and I'm going to put a line here. That way I know which way to flip. So now's the part where we take everything off. So we want to take the valve stem out. Don't lose it. It'll shoot across the room. This is our custom made, no scratch tire changer holder thing. So here's our mark on our rim, there's our mark on our tire. Ouch! That gets me every time further away. So what we want to do is spin the rim or the tire around. And for that, we need some soapy water. So it'll slide. So now we put our valve stem back in. And now we reset the bead. So bounce it like this a little bit. Back to the balancer. So if they're a 1/4 ounce each, this 1/2 ounce, 1 ounce, ounce and a half, 2 ounces. So what we can do is lay this up here, hold it on with some sticky tape, and work our way down. You'll have a tool chest full of pieces of wheel weights. So we got 2 ounces up there, and then spin it halfway and let it do its thing. And it didn't do a thing. Spin it this way. It's barely turning. Which is good. Everything weighs something, even dirt. So this spot is heavier than our heavy spot. That's why it keeps going down. We could take off a 1/4 and add an 1/8 and see. So let's do that. It might work. It might not make that much of a difference. Here's the part where you got little bitty chunks of shit everywhere. Taken off a 1/4 of an ounce. Let's put it right here. And see what happens. Our heavy spot. Too heavy. That's it. So we put all of our stuff away. Well, our weights. So now we apply the weights. What I want to do is, I know my my spot's here because that other one's marking it. So we're going to divide them up. So we take this one, and then we take this one. Stop. Stop. Somebody needs to eat breakfast. Somebody needs to put on glasses. And then double check. So now tire's balanced. Better than it was before. So now it's ready to reinstall. This is the big washer. And it doesn't want to come out, which is great. Stop. It's dished. The dished part goes on the inside. You want the flat spot out up against your swing arm. If you put this side out, it's going to gall up your swing arm. So dished side in. This is only for the Ducatis. I don't know, you know, what you're working on, but when I got it, it was in the wrong way. So putting the tire back on, you have to take the brake caliper and maneuver it a little bit to get it on there. Make sure your chain is able to be put on. It'll drop down and be hanging over here. You'll get this whole tire back on, torqued up, and then go to, well, you'll get this tire back on, ready to tighten up the chain, and it's dangling over there. And then you got to take it off, and not my first time. Won't be my last. This axle gets a little bit of grease right here and right here for these bearings. Not that it rotates, the bearings rotate on here, but you know, just to keep it from seizing up. I like to move this forward and go ahead and put the chain on. While I'm doing this, because if I don't, I'll forget. And then we're going to come over here. We're going to pick up everything up. We're going to line up this hole, those holes, and then our axle shaft goes through. And watch out for this thing. I'd make it removable, but then I'd lose it. The thing you can do with this is use it as a wedge to line up your holes. Something like that. And then if we rotate, we get our chain all the way on. Then we rotate. Okay, so tires back on the bike. You take this nut off. It's all about stick out for me. I want the amount of axle sticking out on both sides to match. It's okay. Just one of my faults. If you got like 1 millimeter sticking out over here and 3 millimeters sticking out over there, then your tiltometer's off a little bit and it's going to want to tilt more to that side. I don't know. You know, it's something to think about. And then on here, there's little tick marks for adjustment. You want them to kind of be the same on both sides, because you want this tire straight, you want the chain straight when you're driving. If it's like this, it's going to handle funny. So we're at 2 ticks over here, and I'm at 3 ticks over here. So I'm going to balance those out, but my chain's really loose, right? We're not running that. So we got to tighten everything up. So they want 25 millimeters of play between the top and the bottom. So if you measure here, then raise it up, they want 25 millimeters, about where this sticker is. It's a brand new chain. Well, it's a 3,000 mile chain, so it hasn't stretched much. Then you can visually inspect and everything looks straight. And then, you know, what I like to do is, let's just go ahead and take a measurement. So I measure like this. 33.17. 31.3, so 1.8. Sometimes when you tighten everything up, it gets tighter. Feels good. $70 to 76 Newton meters, whatever that is. That is about 55 foot-pounds. It's good. I like it. So now what we do is we run our little lock nut down. And hold this. It's a little 6mm bolt. Be careful. There is no shortage of discussion on proper lubrication for a motorcycle chain. But since we have time, we're going to do it with the gear oil, because we all know, well, if properly applied, it's one of the best for your chain. Now then, before we roll out, we'll wipe it off, because it's sticky. I mean, it's, you know. Let it soak, and then before we roll out, we'll give it a wipe down so not as much flings off and gets our rim and our tire all dirty. So that's it for rear tire rotation on the rim, rebalance, reinstall. torque to spec. Thanks for watching. Y'all have a good day.